Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and it's time once again for the second entry into my Halloween horror series for 2017. And this time out, I want to take a look at 1988's Pumpkinhead. This is a film that kind of flew under my radar, and I think it's flown under quite a few people's radars because I don't really hear many people talking about it, at least not in the way that I would expect them to, because I actually thought this was a pretty decent movie. I guess my first opinion of it would be that it's kind of underrated and overlooked. But I really was pleasantly surprised. For some reason, I had lumped it in with a lot of low-budget, trashy VHS-type films from the 80s that really weren't worth your time. But this was an hour and a half that I enjoyed myself, although I wouldn't say that this is, something that you would recommend to everybody. If somebody is an 80s horror fan, this is definitely a movie that they should see, if not have in their collection. This film stars Lance Henrikson. It also features Jeff East, who you may know from playing the young Clark Kent in the Superman movie from 1978, the original one with Christopher Reeve, and a few other people that you may know by sight, if not by name. Lance Henrikson is actually the best part of this film. Of course, you probably know the name, and if you don't, he was in Near Dark, he was in Aliens, the TV show Millennium from the late 1990s. I was going to say 1970s for some reason. I have no idea why. It wasn't quite that long ago. But the plot, and I'll give you this sort of short and simple version of the plot. Lance Henrikson's character is named Ed Harley, and his son is accidentally killed by some city folk, and he is super angry about it, and he goes to a local witch and asks for her to raise his son from the dead. She doesn't have that ability, but she does give him the ability to seek vengeance through this creature called Pumpkinhead by the locals, and it's sort of like a local legend, and you see sort of why that is at the beginning of the film through the introductory scene, which I won't spoil for you. And then once Pumpkinhead is introduced, well, then it's your typical 80s horror film from that point on. But enough of it is different from your typical 80s horror film that I thought that it was really well done. This was directed by Stan Winston, who is better known for his special effects work. Although he did not do the special effects in this film, the special effects are still pretty good. The creature is pretty awesome. I thought it was really cool. It kind of resembles Alien, sort of, the xenomorph from the Alien films, in the way that it's structured. It has a tail and sort of an elongated head, and of course a human-like body. But it's pretty cool. I think the reason I liked this film the most was probably because of the performance of Lance Henrikson. I thought he was very good. The fact that it's sort of a new twist on a creature feature type thing. I mean, there's movies where witchcraft and voodoo and that type of thing comes into play, but here it's sort of melded in with a creature and the sort of backwoods redneck legend type genre, if that's a thing. I don't know. There's just a lot of elements to this movie and the way that it's constructed that I really enjoyed it, and I had a really good time with it. There are a little bit, I wouldn't say comedic elements to it, but there are some funny bits, not too many. And there's a few attempted jump scares. Most of them don't work very well. And I wouldn't say this movie is super scary by any stretch of the imagination. It's just an enjoyable creature feature. Not overly gory either, although I believe it's rated R. I don't remember anything in it that maybe other than language that would really keep it from letting younger people see it. So I don't know. That's totally up to you. I'm not a parent, so those aren't the kinds of decisions I make when I watch a movie. But I really enjoyed Pumpkinhead. I think that for like a Halloween party, this would definitely be a good selection because it's got just enough of everything that you could want from a horror movie, including a pretty cool creature, some good performances, a good story, and some creepy moments. So I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10, and I think this is kind of one of those movies that's underappreciated and more people should see. So check out Pumpkinhead if you get the chance, And next up, I will be taking a look at The Black Coat's Daughter. That is my next entry into the Halloween horror series for 2017. As always, feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.